Cool. Well, hello, trader nerds. How y'all doing today? Pardon the mustard on my shirt. I spilled some mustard on me while I was eating a sandwich. So, that thing kind of happens. Anyway, just rolling out, doing well today. Hope you are as well. It is Monday. Let's kick off a great week of trading or not trading. Remember, this is the week that I suspect that we're not going to do much at all. Let's look at our big green monster and our expected moves. All right. So the expected moves, we have said that the last 3 or 4 weeks, we have been outside the expected move. I believe this week is going to be what we call an inside week, that we will not go outside the expected move. That's my opinion. It matters very little as whether that will happen or not. But I think it's really one of these that will do very little this week trading, which is kind of cool. So as fate would have it, you remember the other day when someone said we'll go right up right after the announcement, the Fed announcement, and then we'll come right back down to the point of control and to the 50% line. Ladies and gentlemen, that's exactly what happens. Sweet Bobby knows ahead of time. So we've now gone to the top of the thing again. Now we're going down. Where are we going? Well, we're going to fill these gaps. That's what we do. That's what price does. And then we're going back down to the point of control. Y'all know it. It's just a matter of time, right? Just a matter of time before that happens. Now, we might be a little bullish before that happens, but this is where we're going. And there is a propensity to want to fill this gap, which is our major gap, which will be down around the 39.40. Would not surprise me at all to see action down there. So market's up 0.06. It is flat for the day. How are we doing? Well, let's check it, baby. Let's go, first of all, to our Tasty account. Let's see what it looks like. Look at this, y'all. Look at this. 97% probability of profit at 36,591. 36,591. Let's put that in. 36,591. 36,591. Hold on a second. 36,591. Let me get my stuff ready. 36,591. 36,591. Fire up the band, Roger.
Well, we're moving on now. We're moving on up to the side. To a deluxe apartment in the sky.
Yes, hallelujah. Praise the Lord. All right, let's see how our little stuff is looking today. Look at this, y'all. We've got -9 deltas. How did that happen? -9.53. -9.53. Y'all hear the birds outside? They're just chirping. Everything's so springy looking after we got rain last night, storms all night long. So I guess the VIX is at 21 or so. Our buying power usage is at 12,188. Looks really good. 12,188. Okay, what would you do here? Well, nothing to do, right? We're at 33% buying power. We could be at 35. We're at 0.14 and we're at -9 deltas. Now, some of you say, well, Bobby, you probably should close a future. I don't have a future. Isn't that weird? How do I have all these wonderful little -9 deltas? I mean, it's just great. So I don't have any futures. Let me double check that. So go to your positions, unclick options, go to futures, say no futures at all. Go here again, look at our options. Nothing to do, just nothing to do. Let's go to the next one. So let's just close this one, shall we? Well, let's see how we're doing for the year. We show the good, the bad, and the ugly. So we are at, where's my darn update button? Yeah. We're at -289 and the market's at 2.96. Whang, Crimea River. All right, let's get out of this one. Go to the next one. And this will be the Crimson account over here. Monitor, Crimson. Yeah. Let's just see if y'all can do nothing for a whole week. Let's see if we can all do nothing for a whole week. 33,614. 33,614. 33. Oh, we did good at this. 614. Yes, fire up the band, Roger.
Well, we're moving on now. We're moving on up to the side. To a deluxe apartment in the sky.
All right, how do our Greeks and ratios look? I thought I had all this mess where it was together. What happened to this? Okay, so Greeks and ratios. So here we are. We are at, say, 54. 54 and 66, 54, 66. Nice, nice, nice. Look at this 66. And our mind power usage is at 10, 7. So what, 10, 6 or so? We'll say 10, 7. 10, 7. That's nice too. Okay, again, I'm a little long. 54. I do have some futures in this one, I think. And but what would you do? I mean, there's nothing to do. I mean, your question has to be, am I comfortable with the risk? And the answer is, yeah, baby. Yeah, 54 positive, 66 deltas, I mean thetas, 0.2. I could be as high as 0.3. Nothing to do. Nothing to do. Shut it down. Let's see how we look compared to the market. Market up 3%. We're down 0.86%. Wang, Crimea River. We've got 13 naked positions, 10 put debit spreads. Now, that may be the thing, you know, that it would be good. If you wanted to, you know, you could put on another put debit spread, but I just don't see it necessary because I've got 10 long hedges out here anyway. So nothing to do. Let's see if any of these are coming due. Let's see my trade tab. See if anything has closed or is coming out. 32 days. We got 4 days on some put debit spreads. 4 days, 32 days, 25 days, 1 day on a long. Okay, nothing to do there. Is this account short futures or long? I think this one is short. Oh, Ed's got a question. Look at Ed raising his hand. Yes, Ed.
You can check your futures. I was about to ask the futures question myself. I want to know how, I thought you were short, and I want to know how many contracts you're short. Can you tell us that?
Yeah, let's see here. I think
Please,
I'm
kind sir.
I think I'm 2 short contracts on my futures. 1 short contract on my future. Got 1 short future. Yep.
I think this account's fine. It's just different than the one you just showed us, which is unhedged and slightly negative delta. If I remember, it was -9 delta. This one's kind of cranked in the other direction. It's got a hedge and it's long 56 delta, which is percentage-wise a little hot. Are you at 0.2?
Yeah, 0.2 on my theta.
Okay, I didn't know how big this account was. That's what I thought. What's your delta rate? How many deltas are you over, Bobby? I guess. Can you go back to your spreadsheet for a second?
I think it was 4. 4.
Oh, okay. So just barely.
Yeah.
All right. I was just thinking it might be a time where you want to take a futures off and take off a short put or something, but maybe not. Maybe just leave it alone. You got a long put expiring tomorrow. I don't know how many deltas that is. It probably isn't very many though, huh?
No, not many. I wouldn't think.
Mike,
Can I jump in here real quick?
Well, sure,
Under
Evan.
10.
Hey,
Sure,
so
jump
good
in,
to see y'all after a horrible weekend where Alabama lost because Matt went to the dang game.
don't blame poor Matt.
Matt's like, I'm going to the game, roll tide. I'm like, oh no, that was the kiss of death.
He's probably like, I get a guy break from the wife and 2 daughters, and
Yeah.
you know, I'm sure he's at least twice as disappointed as you are, Bobby,
Probably so.
since he was live.
I mean, yeah,
in there.
he wasted money on the game, right?
Well, I don't know about wasted, but he certainly didn't get the huge emotional payoff that he was looking for.
Exactly. That's risk reward, baby.
So
No risk, no reward.
I vote a sympathy vote for Matt.
Hey, Evan.
Yeah, so you're, can you pop back to your spreadsheet when you have a second? So you're long 54 deltas and you have long futures on in this account?
Short futures.
Oh, you have, okay. I thought you had long futures and I was going to ask why you don't pull one off, but I see. All right. So what's keeping you then if you're, I mean, obviously you have a little bit of a directional bias now, but what's keeping you from throwing on another future and bringing that down to 4 delta instead of 54? You just comfortable with it there, so you're not going to mess with it? Is that kind of your...
Yeah, comfortable with the risk, comfortable where I'm at, just being over by 4. And I really like keeping a little bit of long delta, but you're right, I could easily neutralize it.
What
especially,
is your point in which you'll hedge?
well,
If you're over your conservative and you're comfortable with that, at what point do you say I'm not comfortable?
okay, well, let's look at Friday. Friday, we were over by 16 and I didn't sell a future. So here, I'm over by 4, didn't sell futures 4. So I know it's here that I'm not. I would say, I don't know. That's a good question. How do you know, right? And from day to day, how do I know if I'm comfortable with that risk? It's just a question I ask, and I don't have a. Now, I will say this. If this were over by 50, I think that's an easy question, right?
Mhm.
Then I go, if I'm over by 50, yeah, let's sell a future. But if I'm over by something less than 50,
Okay, so if you're double your conservative delta, that's kind of where your pain point is.
yeah, that's where my
Okay.
pain point is, and I put it. Yeah, I think that's a great question, though. Great question.
In my plan, I just said if I'm over the conservative delta, I have to neutralize it. And I noticed that you weren't doing that. So I was curious what your point was. So about
Oh,
double.
so your plan
know.
is if it's over at all, you have to neutralize it.
Right, because I'm trying to stay on top of it before it runs away from me.
Got it.
I don't really know at what point it does run away from me. I know that the tasty guidance is that you have half the deltas that you do thetas. So in my mind, I will probably never be at 50 theta when I'm at 50 delta, right? So I'm at that point, I'm going to have a pretty skewed ratio. Because my account's similar to this size, right? So if I'm at 0.1 theta, I'm going to be, I don't know, somewhere around, we'll say 30 theta. So if I'm at 50 or 60 delta, now I'm double my deltas instead of half. So that's why I threw if I'm over my conservative delta number to neutralize.
Yeah, and that's a great point, great question. You know,
You have a little bit more thick skin than I do, I guess, when it comes to this.
Yeah.
I'm the one that's over here all worried about blow up risk and yeah.
So I think what I could do, since it's one of those situations where I go, okay, I'm long a little bit, too long. My theta is nice at 0.2. I could borrow from my theta. And if I did anything, I would probably either take off a position, or I would put on a long. But it may be worth at least looking to see where my naked puts are, right? How are we doing here?
I wasn't necessarily saying you needed to do anything. I was just curious what your plan was.
Yeah.
While you're here, go look at your long that's about to expire tomorrow. Like what's its delta? It's got to be low, but just for informational purposes.
Oh, where's he at? Let's see what it is. Let's see. Finding here. Let's see. Trades. Where is he at? He is a 3710 long in MES. Is that right? Oh, I know what that is. That's part of a Sweet Bobby hedge. Okay, we can find him. That may be my last Sweet Bobby hedge. Let's see. Here he is. No, where's he at? Well, he's in here somewhere. He's just he's, how sometimes I had things in different places.
I guess you could unsort these and then look at DTE. I don't know, you're zipping around so fast, I can't even eyeball it, but.
Let's see. It doesn't even look like he's on there.
Thought you said one was expiring tomorrow. I don't know. And what about ES? It's not in there? It's not a little. No.
That's strange. It looks like I've already got him off. Let me do my days again. Days 4, 4, 4, 4.
Yeah,
25. Yeah. Who knows?
All right. Well, you don't have that to deal with tomorrow. That's okay.
No. Yep. You're right.
But you do have a bunch of them that expire Friday. So what are all those deltas while we're here? Low, but what are they?
One deltas on all that. And I got some. Yeah. I don't know. Well, y'all make me think at least. Y'all are making me think, you know, and in the week when I was like, I think it's the week we don't do anything. Now y'all got me thinking I want to do something. But I'm not. I think I'm good. I think I'm really, really good. I like where I'm at. All right, let's go to the final account. Let's go to this one. This one, if y'all don't know what this one is, that's an Alabama word for this particular one. 82,489. 82,489. Oh, yeah, baby.
Well, we're moving on now to the side. To a deluxe apartment in the sky.
Let's see how we're doing here now. So this one, we are at 29, let's say 3071. 3071. Look at that. Look at that theta decay. Look at that. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Ruh-roh, Shaggy. 3071. Unbelievable. Well, I got some of that as profit, didn't I? All right, so that means that our buying power is 24,769. Let's see if we got anything coming to you over here. 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 32, 25, 25, 25, 53, 53, 53. All right, this one deserves some attention. Let me see what all my stuff is over here. Let's see. I've got 20 nakeds and 38 put debit spreads. Look at that. And all my Sweet Bobby hedges are gone. Look at that. That is cool. Now, do we have any futures over here? Let's look. Yep, got one future over here too. All right, so let's build a trade out. Looks like we need a trade. Everybody knows why, right? I'm at 0.09 here. That's not enough theta. I've collected. Look at that weekend theta that I got in this account. That was awesome. A lot of theta came out because it wasn't from the market movement. That was just theta decay. I don't think we've ever seen such a beautiful example of sometimes what happens over a weekend, a theta decay. We're at 103, now we're at 71. Look at that. Beautiful. So let's build us out a trade. So I go over here to build them because it's just easier and quicker. Guy hadn't done a trade in a long time, y'all. I don't know how to do it. So we go closest to 60, and I do it without going under. So it'll be right here. We'll do a long put vertical, make it 50 wide. And then we move it down to where it's $10. It's at $9.75 actually, right? Here we go. So it looks like it's going to be the 37.90, 37.40. 37.90, 37.40. 37.90. 37.40. Y'all don't let me get that. 37.90, 37.40. Wow, not doing a trade in a long time. Okay, here we go. 65. 37.90, 37.40. We don't have anything in this expiration. 37.90. 37.40. So we're gonna sell him. Hold your control key down if you're on Thinkorswim to do the next one. 37.90. 9.75, $10. And I think, do I want to do one to count, one or two? Let's just do one. I mean, if there's a down day, I do two, right? I don't know. This is one I can't keep enough count. Let's do two. There we go. Then in the same expiration, we're going to go down here. Now, Ryan has got to where he's a little more aggressive than me, but I just like going down to the 12. That's a 6 delta or so, 5 or 6 delta. So if I could collect 12 here on 4 of these puppies. Come on, fill me. Ta-da! So we sold the 33 tens for 12.
What delta does Ryan sell?
I
10?
think he's going up. Yeah, I think a 10 or so. I can't remember exactly what he's doing, but he's a little more aggressive.
In a 112?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. What the crap was this? Why is that 314.23? I put it on 310. Why did I take that off so quick? That's weird. Huh. That just looks weird that I would have put something on the 10th and closed it on the 14th. Huh.
I think it was one of those metric management days where you were just trying to take off the most, I guess, risky position. Maybe you're
Mhm.
neutralizing delta, lowering theta. And then since you
Okay.
just put that one on, it was closest to being at the money, I would imagine.
Okay. I got you. I was like, that just seems weird, like something I normally wouldn't do. So 65 days, right? So we got in this one on 3/27/23. Look at there. It's been, see how long it's been before we put on the trade, y'all? It's been 17 days. That is weird. That's like we had to, sit through all those hard times and go management. And we didn't put on a trade. That was wild. Okay, that's great. So I did 4 of those. And I did 2. Y'all help me remember the strikes. 37, let's see, PDS 35, 37.90, 37.40, right? Puts, debit spread 65, 3/27/23, and $10 for that. Okay. So let's see if that popped my stuff up. So we were at 71. Market's moved, so we may still be at 71, but I'm hoping we went up a little bit. Let's see. Let's see if our theta went up. Oh yeah, 80, baby. 79 to 80. Let's put that in there, see what that looks like. Oh yeah. I want to put 80 if it turned green. No. Okay. Well, we got to 0.10. Rounded, it's still, a little under, but it's good. It's right where we need to be. Yeah, so I'm glad I did put on 2 tranches of the 112. All right. Questions, comments. See what all the messages are y'all are saying. Glenn, I'm curious, since I joined at the beginning of the year, where did the $10 price for the put debit spread come from? Is there a study behind it? No, I think that's just when Tom King taught me to trade. That's kind of where we were putting it. Now, interestingly enough, Glenn, some people do, instead of 50 wide, they do 30 wide and only pay $6 for theirs. Whatever. And it just kind of stuck. So you can put it anywhere, I guess, and pay as much as you want to. AV says, as long as all these accounts are yours, then to avoid too much trading, you might need to look at the overall delta of the accounts before adjusting.
And that's kind of what I was mentioning when I was, your other account was a -9 delta, and then you went to the other one, it was a +56 delta. So when you look at those two together, you got $1 adjust them. But, especially when you look at them together, the negative account, delta account, is a little tiny bit hedging the positive delta or offsetting it. So I think Ivy's question's legit if you have multiple accounts and you want to look at it that way. I think ideally you should trend each account to what you're trying to do. And by that, and you may be like this, Bobby, or you may not, but I am. Like, one account I trend much lower for risk, and the other one I trend higher. So, that can be looked at as an overall group, but I don't look at the 2 accounts and say, well, I can leave this one like this because that one's like that. If they're not like they should be, I would want to adjust one or both of those. So I want to answer that.
That's a strange thing, because that is something I have never looked at. I've never looked at, well, this one's long, this one's a little short, look at them together. Not saying that I shouldn't, but I've never even considered that. I
don't think you really have, and that's why I was saying, I don't think you really have to, as long as your metrics are in line for each account based on what your thought process is. If you have 3 accounts and your thought process is exactly the same, then as long as your account metrics are in line, that's fine. And then you have to dollar adjust it. Your 80-something thousand dollar account has to be compared to your 20-something thousand dollar account. And those deltas have to be dollar or weighted because of that dollar adjustment. So it's a lot of extra brain power, kind of like for nothing. If you just look at it and say, okay, these metrics are good and these metrics are good, and then move on. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But again, I just like to make sure the metrics for each account are where I want them to be. Because again, repeating, one of my accounts throttles higher and the other one throttles much lower on the risk scale. So I want to throw that out there. And then on Glenn's comment, can I just touch base on that again?
Oh, absolutely.
So there's been a lot of discussion over the many months here on, and it's not really a $10, it's a 10 point, it's a 50 wide for $10. It's 10 points, whatever that contract value is. So in the micros, it costs $50. And I know Glenn knows that, but in case someone's reading that and they're a little confused. And then the 50 wide itself has been very discussed, and a lot of people run 30s. Most people I think are running 50s. I've seen some people run 100, which I don't really get because it's twice as expensive as a 50, and I'd rather place 2 50s on different spots along the risk spectrum in that tranche versus just one 100, which may amount to the same thing. It's all a personal preference. But what I'm really getting at, besides that preliminary info, is I think over time, we found that a 50 wide campaign where you put these things on and you remove your nakeds when you can, leaving some put debit spread protection for the account. I think as long as you're doing whatever you're doing consistently and it seems to be working for you, I think it's good. If you find yourself overhedged because you have too many put debit spreads on, maybe you want to back one down to a 30 or something like that. And so there's some flexibility there, but I think for safety purposes, a 50 wide all the time until you get a good feel for your metrics and your account is probably a best practice.
And Trey says he's been experimenting with higher price put debit spreads at around $15. So he'd be here, right where I sold the where I bought the 38.90, he'd be selling the 38.90 and buying the 39.40 at around $15 in order to bring the profit tent closer to the current price. You certainly could do that.
Yeah, we did this last year at times, and we called it a super bear. I mean, you're basically giving up some naked put data in exchange for placing your put debit spread closer to the action and therefore more protective.
And I think by
which I think
now,
is fine. I would just say if someone's going to do that, I think they should go shorter term with it. So if we do have a pullback in the shorter term, which is kind of what you're looking for, it'll be placed in a shorter term maturity, which will be much more responsive than a longer dated one.
what's this too, y'all? This is cool where you kind of use things in conjunction, right? So that would be the 39.40. By doing that, what's this? Oh no, I wanted to show you. Here's the 39.40. Guess where the 39.40 is? Right where I told you. Wouldn't surprise us if we go. No, wouldn't surprise us all, 39.40. And that's kind of cool that he was like, hey, I'm putting one at 39.40, bringing the profit tent closer. Well, if you're actually using the only technical analysis that we use, which is the big green monster and volume profile, that certainly makes sense, right? Because otherwise I was down here, the 38.70 or so down here where we would be oversold. So, but again, I only use this for 10-day forecasts. So, putting that out there at 65 days, well, who only knows what this thing will look like at this point? And that's something that I hadn't talked about enough with the big green monster. The big green monster, I use it for a 10-day. It's a 10-day look forward, right? So what I'm saying is, here's what I'm seeing here, right? We're seeing this to this for the next 10 days. So, if you get the big down day tomorrow bound in here, does that surprise us? Not at all. And that's what we're expecting, a down move to the point of control. We know we want to fill these in, and we're probably going to fill this in. And this is a magnet. The 50% line is a magnet. So if I'm looking at anything here, my tilt for the coming days is a little bit bearish. Now, that doesn't mean we're not going to be overbought here. We can certainly do that. But even if we're overbought, we're kind of bearish on our chart here. Nick says, I have an ES on close to the money. On close to the money. Oh, let's see what he say. On close to the money. And 2 credit spreads out further out for a huge debit, total cost $38. Huge 10. Yeah, you can do all kind of things like this. You remember, this is kind of like Bertino's space trip trade. It's what these things kind of look like when you put them all together, these big things. Ed says, Trey, are you still selling the naked puts for 20-ish and getting 10, 11 on the tranche? Yeah, so everybody does their own thing, which is good. And that's what was good, about the mentorship. Trey made the plan his own. So we got to make the plan his own. It's just that when you start adding things to the plan, y'all, make sure you got it in writing, right? And we have now shared the total plan in the Discord. So if you go into Discord, all you got to do is go into the written trading rooms. Let's see if I can find it. Written trading plan. Y'all help me find it. No thanks. Written trading plan. Where's it at? Let's bring up the plan. Written trading plan. Here we go. So if you're in the Discord, written trading plan, and here's the PDF. Everybody's got it. So all you got to do is open it up. Just scan in my document, make sure that Bobby hadn't put any Trojan horses in there. Well, where'd it go? That's where I opened it. It says it's opening it. Open the darn thing. They're scanning it just to be on the safe side. Anyway, that should open. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Here we go. Let me open this puppy. Here we go. Let's bring the trade plan over. So this is the latest, greatest trading plan. And let me show you what I did. So it's got the strategy. It's got all the metrics on there, the components of the strategy, how they normally behave, when you enter trades, optional hedging. We still got the Sweet Bobby hedge in there if you want to do it. We did talk about doing the VIX hedge lately, but we'll talk about that. I don't think I want to do it today. Then I did say about the calls. I did put calls because I wanted this to be done. I'm finished. I'm never putting anything else in the plan. Wink. So we're done. So if you're going to sell a call for a portfolio adjustment, sell a 10 delta or less call nearest to 60 days expiration. That's where we're putting it. And then we put in here what it does if you do this. If you close or roll when you're naked positions, it decreases your delta, decreases your theta, decreases your buying power. The only one that you may have some issue with is the selling calls. It will decrease your delta. It will increase your theta. And I put neutral on the buying power. It could increase your buying power. It could decrease your buying power, or it could have no effect on your buying power. So depending on what your overall portfolio metrics are, it could increase it, decrease. I just put neutral. It's not going to have a lot of effect on your buying power. So I thought that was best to put it there. And remember, what we're assuming, our assumption going into the week is for our process, if you love the process, respect the process, trust the process, follow the process, then winning a championship, or in our little metaphor here, or having a successful, wildly successful account is going to be the inevitable result. You just got to follow the process. And I think what our big takeaway from this week is, there ain't a lot to do, y'all. It's just not a lot to do. We're filled up on our account. If you got all your theta out there, let it work. Let theta burn, because here's what theta does, y'all. This is a great thing. Theta goes from 103 to 79 in 3 days, 2 days, 3 days. This is what this typically does. Theta going down. And we want theta to burn. And you just put enough wood in the fire to keep it burning. Now, you don't want to cause a forest fire with your little campfire. So what we got to do with our fire is, when you go camping and you build a fire, like I'm sure Ed's been camping before, right? And he's probably burned the woods down. But what you want to do is you build your little fire.
I'm actually an Eagle Scout, if you can believe that.
No, that is not a surprise to me at all. Not at all.
I just want to throw that no forest burning by old Ed.
So you make your little circle, right? And you dig your little trench around the fire, right? You dig your little trench to keep it from getting out. Now, what is that? Well, that's buying power control, right? Digging a little trench, and then you put your little wood in there, you stack it like this. Remember how they told us to stack it like a tic-tac-toe? Then you kind of do it like this, and then you get the little kindling under it and the little hay or something, little brush under it. You get your fire going. But then you don't cut the whole woods down and throw everything on it and just make it as big as possible. No, because then you'd have too much delta. So you got to isolate your little fire. You got to keep everything just enough. And then your theta would just throw in enough theta, enough wood on the fire to what? Keep it burning. Keep that theta burning. That theta is the fuel to our fire. And you just got to keep throwing little sticks in there just when necessary, but not too much, not too much. Oh, my fire got a little too much theta in there. What do I do? Well, we biput, right? We biput. We take a twig off. We take the thing off. We close the position.
And step back from the fire until it cools off a little.
Yeah, step back from the fire. That's what we're kind of doing this week, right? We're just stepping back. We're letting it burn. Right. Yeah, it's got a little big. Okay. I've got 0.2 theta. And what am I, is that a little too much? Well, let's just watch it decay. So there's all kind of metaphors that we can come up with for our account. Candy uses a car engine, keep enough fuel in the car, keeping it in the road, don't let it, and so whatever it is, you got to let theta decay. Remember, what we sell is an apple. Normally, you buy back or let expire a rotten apple core. Right? Occasionally, on the way to this becoming an apple core, it becomes a grapefruit. Sometimes it becomes a pumpkin. Right? Sometimes it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. It doesn't matter. I mean, you just got to say, hey, man, at some point, all extrinsic value goes to zero at expiration. So if you can keep your apple out of the money, right? There's a line that you don't cross. And this is why we roll, so that you can make the extrinsic value go to zero, and it will be this size. But if it gets in the money and the price is below your apple, now you've got something called intrinsic value. So an option is either equal to zero extrinsic or its intrinsic value at expiration. Okay, Morgan says, I had to take a call. Where did the fire end and the apple begin? That's a good question. Now we're going to throw our apple into the fire. No, I'm just joking. I don't know. The fire, though, we were talking about, and one of the things Ed says is, say, your fire gets, a little too bright sometimes, a little too hot. I love what he said. Step back. You were standing right here and it got too hot. It got too much stuff going on. What do? Step back. Let it burn. Let theta decay. So an option will either be at expiration is equal to its intrinsic value. That's what it's equal to, because it has no extrinsic value. And its intrinsic value is either going to be zero or it's going to be something other if it's in the money. So your job and my job is to keep all of our apples out of the money. That's why we roll. Isn't that cool? I just love how we run this thing. I mean, and yeah, some of y'all may get bored on a day like today because there's nothing to do. Nothing to do. But then you think about it and you go, hey, man, this is the plan. Have you written your plan? Have you printed your plan? Do you have it bound? I can't believe I gave mine away, but I'm glad I gave it away because now it's changed, right? Now the official date is 3/24. But I think I've got everything in here to cover anything that we need to do.
And you made it pink at top too.
And we made it pink at the top because we are manly men, and manly men can wear pink and purple and look just good. Dang good. Candy just roasts marshmallows. Exactly. What happens if we don't stop back? Let me see, Evan. Let's see what's going on here. Evan said, oh my gosh. Look, this old boy. What's this old boy doing? Oh my God. Why is it stopping? Come on, play, dang it. I guess it's buffering. I don't let it get in here. Probably my internet. You know, you can tell old boy though. I mean, he's got the Amish beard, right? And he's got the good old boy hat here. You know, this is not going to be good. Oh my gosh, look at it. Yeah, nothing could go wrong here. What an idiot. Unbelievable. All right. What else y'all saying? TikTok is stealing my data. They're stealing Evan's data. Yeah, probably just took over my computer. All right, guys. Great session today.
Stealing everyone's data. It's impossible to avoid.
I hope they steal my data. I hope my credit report goes up higher. I'm so close to being in the 800s, y'all. I'm so close.
You just got to let somebody steal your identity, run up a bunch of charges on your credit card, and then you pay them off, and then your credit score goes up.
Well, we did tell you about, you know, that we bought a
refrigerator.
No, well, we did buy a refrigerator. That was last year. So now we went and bought a new, thanks to Ed, we got a KitchenAid dishwasher and we got a new microwave. So Beth was upset because I got me a new computer. She's like, you spent $1,500 on a computer? And I'm like, yeah. She says, okay, I'm getting my new microwave. I'm getting my new, so I was like, okay, whatever. But anyway,
somebody got your credit card and was buying a refrigerator up in like North Carolina.
South Carolina. Well, the good thing is they were buying it and using our email address to pick it up, but they weren't using our credit card. It's weird. They were using our phone number and everything. So it hadn't come back yet that they use anything on credit cards. I check our credit cards all the time. Now, they may have opened a credit card in my name using my near 800 credit score. Yes, Ed.
Can I offer some comments on this whole line of topic?
Yeah.
So I think everyone should be monitoring their credit score, either through one of your credit cards, and if you log on your app and yada, yada, you're looking at your activity, whatever your means. Most of the credit cards are offering credit scores. Just look at your credit score, and if you see some volatile movement, realize something weird may be happening. The other thing, and I'm sure there are plenty of services, including paying for this service with one of the 3 reporting agencies, Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. You can go to like NerdWallet, nerdwallet.com, and open an account, and you can get your credit report through them and actually look at it, and it will email you, oh, your credit score did this week or that this week. And I don't go in and look often, but if I see any kind of weird movement in my credit score, I'll go look at my account and just make sure that, and that's another good one right there as well. I think I haven't used it, but I think it's fine. Which is your annualcreditreport.com that you have up. So these are great services. I also like NerdWallet because it's a great personal finance site. So I just want to throw that out there. It's maybe something everyone might want to consider in this day where everything's getting hacked and all our data is getting stolen by TikTok, is that we were just talking about in the side over here. Monitoring your credit score and at least respecting when it moves for some crazy reason. Go research it and do yourself a favor. And if you have been hacked, a friend of mine had her phone hacked last week, and within minutes, all her bank account had been hacked. Everything was hacked. And I told her the first thing she should do is go to the credit bureaus, the ones I just mentioned, and freeze your credit. Because when you freeze your credit, it prevents people from opening new credit in your name without you unfreezing your credit. So that's my personal finance tips for the day.
And this is a site that's great, y'all. Annualcreditreport.com, the only source for your free credit reports authorized by federal law. So you can get 2 credit reports here, but look at this. During this period of economic uncertainty, continuing to offer free weekly online credit reports. So you can get it here, annualcreditreport.com. Look, I'm at 788, y'all. 788. I'm so close to 800. Ed, I bet you got an 800.
Correct, mi compadre.
Mine says the reason I don't
I'm
have,
at about an 825.
oh, Ed's credit's better than me. I got 100% payment history. Look here, here's what's having a problem on me. My age of credit is only 6 years and 9 months. Well, that's because I don't really carry any credit on anything other than my house. I've been in this house 3 years. So
You ought to take one of your credit cards.
yeah.
I guess you debit card gas. You ought to like buy a tank or two of gas every month and just pay it off. Use it, pay it off, use it, pay it off. And I'm sure you're under 10% on your credit card limit, but keeping your credit card limit below 10% of your available credit is also a great thing. And if you don't do that regularly, if some of our listeners go over 10% regularly, call your credit card company and ask for a bump in your credit limit. So if you normally charge $2,000 a month and you have a $15,000 limit, you're constantly going over 10% usage, and that does ding your credit score a little. Just call your credit score and ask them, I want to bump up my credit limit, please. And they'll go click, click, click. Sure. You know, they'll be happy to do it.
Well, and we did put the microwave and the dishwasher on the credit card, on the Lowe's card. We had a Lowe's card. So we put it on there, and they either offered us like, what was it? 12%, 12 months, no interest or something like that. So I did that. I thought that would be good.
There you go.
You know, you got to use it a little bit, right? You got to use
Just
stuff.
put it on auto draft so that you don't miss a payment and they flood you with that 30% default interest rate. Look, Mark wants to say something. I also want to point out, Brett pointed out very accurately, keep your credit frozen unless you're applying for credit. We live in the wild, wild west of the wild internet right now, where everything's super high speed and everything's getting hacked all the time. And then things get hacked for a long time and we don't even know it. Freezing your credit is absolutely the best thing you can do for yourself. So I didn't want to quite go there because you have to physically go freeze it, and then you have to unfreeze it whenever you want to apply for new credit. But or new credit with an institution you don't already have credit. So if you bank at Chase and you have a credit card, I don't think they automatically keep having access to your credit report. It's only new credit that it freezes out. I want to throw that up. Mark got his hand up.
Hey, Mark.
I was just wanting to say, if you go to get the Experian app, you can freeze your credit. Just takes about 10 minutes, and you can freeze and unfreeze it. So anything I want to do, I unfreeze it, apply for whatever I'm trying to do, and then I lock it right back up. You can do it just with the app. Just wanted to throw that out there. And everyone
Mark,
has
that's
a
great
phone
info.
and an app. Yep.
I appreciate that. And Mark, does it automatically freeze you when you do that? It freezes you with the other two pretty quickly as well?
Yeah. Yeah, because
Okay.
if they try with the other two, it's going to show it in like a discrepancy. Yep.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, they're
it's-
supposed to
it's-
overlap. I just didn't know what your experience with that was. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm gonna do that right now.
Yep, and I'm right with you, Ed. Bobby, I'm at 825. I can't get above it.
That's like me, man. I think mine had gone down to something. I had something on mine, but anyway, it's hard for me to bump that 800. I'm right up there, right? I just got to.
So keeping your limit under 10%, using your unused credit cards, even just one or two of them every now and then for a tank of gas or whatever, and paying it off. The activity is good for you. And then the other thing is, when you, for those that have credit cards, and virtually probably all of us have them and hopefully don't abuse them, when you go and you decide, I don't want this card anymore, like I don't have any annual fee cards. But if you have an annual fee card, obviously you don't want to just leave it open if you're choosing not to use it. But if you have a no annual fee card that you don't plan on using anymore, just throw it in a file in your drawer in the, in wherever you keep such things. You don't even have to reactivate it. It stays open. And you want that, Bobby. So for instance, in your case where your average credit is 6 years and whatever, if you just leave them open, they just stay open, and the extended life gives you bonus as well.
So there's a caveat to that. Some companies will close your cards if they're inactive for a certain period of time. So I wouldn't say
Totally
throw it in a
true.
drawer and forget about it for years. I don't know if the limit is 6 months or 12 months or 5 years, but I've seen instances where people's oldest line of credit, maybe it's like a $500 limit on like a secured card that they got when they just turned 18. That's their oldest line of credit. And if they don't use it and it gets canceled out, their average age of credit drops a lot. So you don't want to completely free.
Well, y'all making me feel like a deadbeat. Y'all got 815, 830 scores. Ed's in at 825. Nick
You're
says
close,
he's
Bobby.
850. Here I am, deadbeat Bob. Unbelievable, 788. I thought I was doing good.
Yeah, I'll wiggle from the lower to the mid eights. You're very close. You'd be shocked at how close you are.
Yeah,
really
I think,
if
like you
look at
said,
your deal-
if I would do something
Mhm.
like Carlos said, Capital One requests an increase every 6 months. Here's the card I use though. We charge everything on Barclay card. It's a You Promise card. And so like 2% of every purchase goes toward my kids' college fund, but I always just cash it out and have them send it to me, right? But it's like I may get a check for $120 a month from my credit card because we never pay interest. We pay it off every month. And, oh, a Redbird. Oh, how beautiful. They say when you visit a Redbird, it's like one of your relatives has kind of come back to see you or something. Oh, how beautiful. It's like a little cardinal looking Redbird outside, y'all. It's so beautiful. Let me snap a picture of that for you. Y'all keep talking while I take a picture of that bird.
Also, too, guys, on that Experian app, for anyone that's in the 600s or 700s trying to get your score up, you can sign up for what they get. I think it's called Boost. And what it does is it lets you add your utility bill, your cell phone bill, and other things. You just put your account number and they monitor that history. And that helps boost you up if you're trying to get to the 800s. When you're in 800s, you know, it does you no good. Just something else to throw out there for someone that's trying to make that next week.
And I'm going to tell you something, y'all. Old sweet Bobby here, throughout my lifetime, I've had bad credit and I've had good credit. Life is much easier when you got good credit. Life is much easier. Your insurance is cheaper. They pull it when you go for jobs nowadays. If you're renting or buying, I mean, think about all the things that our credit report, our credit scores are used for. And it is so much better when, you know, everything is paid and you got, I mean, it's just really, really good. So if you don't have a good credit score, work on it now, right? Really work on it now. I will share something else too. If you are not using Quicken to reconcile your accounts and everything, that is so good, y'all, to keep up with your spending and your money. I don't know how we got into the personal finance, but I love it. I use Quicken. It costs a few bucks every year to renew it, but I can download all of my transactions into it. I keep up with all my accounts, my credit card accounts, everything. It's just so good.
Quicken gives you a credit score too.
Yeah, if they give you a credit score too. Yeah, that's good. And Morgan says, not here in Canada, over 700, it doesn't really seem to do much for you. I'm over 8 and nothing changes. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, Candy, I agree with you. Us talking about personal finance, you know, it keeps us out of our accounts. Exactly. That's what we're trying to do this week. I'm telling you, the more we put on the accounts, the worse they're going to be. The less you do. Put enough fuel in the fire. Make sure you're down to about 1.1 theta, and then step away. You know, step away. Let it do what it needs to. But this is a great thing, y'all. But yeah, your insurance is cheaper. Everything's better when you got great credit. All right, great session, y'all. I will see y'all tomorrow.